Commander Vexthul stood on the bridge of his warship. His 6 eyes stared at the screen in front of him. On it was a small space station. It looked weak. It looked easy to destroy. This was what he lived for. For 3 years, Vexthul had been hunting humans across the galaxy. He was very good at it. His ship was fast and quiet. His weapons were strong. Most importantly, he hated humans more than anything else in the universe. The Korthani Empire had given him a simple job: find human settlements and destroy them. No questions asked, no prisoners taken. Just death. Vexthul loved his job. He pressed a button on his control panel. The computer showed him information about his target. It was a research station on the moon of Kepler 442c. Only 23 humans lived there. They were scientists studying the air on different planets. Weak humans, Vexthul said to himself. His voice was deep and rough, always poking around where they do not belong. His second-in-command, Korval, stood beside him. "Commander, the station has almost no weapons. This will be easy." Vexthul nodded. "Good. I want to finish this quickly. Then we can find more human nests to clean out." The commander walked to the big window at the front of his ship. Space was dark around them. In the distance, he could see the small moon where the humans had built their station. It looked like a tiny dot of light against the black sky. Vexthul thought about why he hated humans so much. They were young as a species, only a few thousand years old. The Korthani had been traveling space for over 50,000 years. Humans should bow down to their betters. They should serve the older, stronger races. But humans never did what they were supposed to do. Instead, they spread across the galaxy like a disease. They built cities on planets that belonged to other species. They made colonies in places where they had no right to be. They took resources that should go to better races. Worst of all, humans never gave up. Even when they were clearly beaten, they kept fighting. Even when stronger species told them to stop, they kept pushing forward. It made no sense to Vexthul. Weak things should know their place. "Commander," Korval said, "we are close enough to attack. Should I charge the weapons?" "Yes," Vexthul replied. "But first, make sure our cloak is working. I want to watch them panic when they realize they are about to die." The Korthani ship was invisible to most sensors. It could get very close to targets before anyone knew it. Was there? This was how Vexthul liked to hunt. He enjoyed seeing the fear in human eyes when they finally understood their situation. On the screen, the human station looked peaceful. Small ships moved around it carrying supplies. People worked outside in spacesuits, fixing things on the station's hull. They had no idea death was coming for them. Vexthul smiled. His mouth was full of sharp teeth. "Look at them, Korval. So confident. So sure they are safe out here. They will learn differently very soon, Commander. Indeed they will." Vexthul had destroyed 17 human settlements in the past 3 years. Some were big cities with millions of people. Others were small research posts like this one. It did not matter to him, big or small. All humans deserved the same fate. He remembered his first human kill. It was on a farming planet called New Eden. The humans there had been growing food to send to other human worlds. Vexthul had burned their crops and killed every person on the planet. Men, women, children. It made no difference to him. At first, killing humans had been just a job, but over time, it became something more. It became a passion. Each dead human made the galaxy a cleaner place. Each destroyed settlement was one less source of human infection. Humans were like weeds, Vexthul thought. They grew everywhere. They took over places where better plants should grow. The only way to deal with weeds was to pull them out by the roots. "Commander, all weapons are ready," Korval reported. "Good. Target their power station first. I want them to sit in the dark while they wait to die." "Yes, sir." Vexthul walked back to his command chair. It was made from the bones of creatures he had hunted on his home world. Everything about his ship was designed to remind him that he was a predator. Humans were prey. The computer beeped. "Target locked," it said in the Korthani language. Vexthul felt excitement build in his chest. This was the moment he lived for. The moment when human arrogance met Korthani superiority. Fire, he commanded. Red beams of energy shot out from his ship. They hit the human station's power center. Explosions bloomed like flowers across the station's hull. The lights went out. Emergency systems kicked in, bathing everything in red light. On his screen, Vexthul could see humans running through the corridors of their station. Some were trying to fix the damage. Others were running to escape pods. A few were just standing still, too scared to move. Pitiful, Vexthul said. Fire again. Hit their communication array. I do not want them calling for help. More energy. Beams struck the station. The communication dish exploded into pieces. Now the humans were cut off from the rest of their kind. They were alone with death. Vexthul stood up from his chair. Prepare a boarding shuttle, Korval. I want to finish this personally. Commander, we could just destroy the station from here. Why risk boarding it? Vexthul's 6 eyes gleamed with cruel joy. Because I want to see their faces when they die. I want to watch their hope fade away. Besides, there might be useful information in their computers. This was how Vexthul always worked. He liked to get close to his victims. He liked to make sure they knew who was killing them and why. It was more satisfying than just blowing them up from a distance. The shuttle bay doors opened. Vexthul checked his weapons and put on his battle armor. In a few minutes, he would be walking through the human station. In an hour, everyone inside would be dead. It was going to be a good day for hunting. Vexthul's shuttle landed on the human station with a soft thud. The docking bay was dark except for red emergency lights. Smoke filled the air. Pieces of broken metal floated in the low gravity. The commander stepped out of his shuttle. His heavy boots made loud sounds on the metal floor. He was tall, much taller than any human. His dark armor made him look like a shadow with glowing eyes. In his hand, he carried his favorite weapon. It was an energy rifle that could cut through steel. He had used it to kill hundreds of humans. Today it would kill more. Vexthul activated his helmet display. It showed him the heat signatures of living things inside the station. 23 humans had been here when he attacked. Now his scanner showed only 15 were still alive. Good, he said to himself. Some of them saved me the trouble of killing them. The station's corridors were narrow and filled with floating debris. Broken pipes leaked water and air into space. The humans had built this place quickly and cheaply. It showed their lack of proper planning. Vexthul moved through the station like a hunting animal. His 6 eyes could see clearly in the dark. His ears could hear the smallest sounds. Every sense told him where the humans were hiding. The first group was in a storage room near the main lab. 3 scientists had barricaded themselves behind boxes of equipment. They were whispering to each other, trying to make plans. Humans always tried to make plans when they should just accept death. Vexthul kicked down their barricade with one powerful blow. The 3 humans looked up at him with wide, terrified eyes. One was a young man with dark hair. Another was an older woman with glasses. The third was middle-aged with a beard. Please, the bearded man said. We are just scientists. We study air and weather. We have never hurt anyone. Vexthul pointed his rifle at the man's chest. You are human. That is enough. The energy beam lit up the room for just a moment. When it faded, all 3 humans were dead. Vexthul felt satisfied. This was how things should be. Humans should know their place in the universe. That place was under the boots of stronger species. He moved deeper into the station. His scanner showed more heat signatures in the research section. 2 humans were trying to fix the communication system. They probably wanted to send a distress call. Vexthul found them working frantically at a broken console. One was a young woman with short black hair. The other was an older man with gray at his temples. It's no use, Lisu, the man said. The antenna array is completely destroyed. We have to try, Dr. Kang, the woman replied. If we can just send a signal. She stopped talking when she saw Vexthul standing in the doorway. Her face went white. With fear, Dr. Kang Hyun turned around slowly. Unlike the others, he did not look afraid. He looked sad and tired. You're Korthani, Dr. Kang said. It was not a question. I am Commander Vexthul of the Korthani Empire. Vexthul replied. You are my prey. Dr. Kang stepped in front of the young woman. Wait, before you kill us, let me make you an offer. Vexthul was curious despite himself. Most humans just begged for their lives. This one was different. We have 3 years of research data here, Dr. Kang continued. Information about atmospheric composition on dozens of worlds. Some of them might be useful to your empire. Spare my people, and I will give you everything. Your research means nothing to me, Vexthul said. The Korthani have better science than humans could ever develop. Then take me as a prisoner. Study my brain. Learn how humans think. That information must have some value. Vexthul raised his rifle. The only thing I need to know about humans is how they die. The energy beam struck Dr. Kang in the chest. He fell backward, his body hitting the wall with a dull sound. The young woman screamed and tried to run. Another beam caught her before she reached the door. Vexthul looked at Dr. Kang's body. Even in death, the human's face showed no hatred, only sadness. It was strange. Most creatures hated the things that killed them, but Vexthul did not think about it for long. He had more hunting to do. His scanner showed several heat signatures in the living quarters. This section of the station had small rooms where the humans slept and ate. It was the most personal part of their little world. Vexthul enjoyed destroying personal spaces. It reminded humans that nowhere was safe from the Korthani Empire. The first few rooms were empty. The humans who lived there had probably died when he hit the power station. But as he moved deeper into the living area, he heard something that made him stop, crying. But it was not the crying of an adult human. Vexthul had heard that sound many times before. This was different. Higher pitched, more urgent. He followed the sound to a small room at the end of the corridor. The door was damaged but still partly closed. Red emergency light leaked through the cracks. Vexthul pushed the door open and stepped inside. The room was a family quarters. There were pictures on the walls showing humans smiling together. Personal belongings were scattered around. A cooking area, a sleeping area, a small space where a child might play. On the floor, leaning against the wall, was a human woman. She had long black hair and wore a blue research uniform. Her name tag said Dr. Yuna Hanna. Blood covered the front of her shirt. She was badly hurt. In her arms, she held a bundle wrapped in soft cloth. The bundle was making the crying sound. Dr. Yuna looked up at Vexthul with tired eyes. She should have been afraid. She should have begged for her life like the others. Instead, she did something completely unexpected. She held out the bundle toward him. Please, she whispered. Her voice was weak but clear. His name is Wu Jin. He is only 6 months old. He has never hurt anyone. He doesn't even know what hurt means. Vexthul stared at the bundle. Now he could see what it was. A human baby. Very small. Very young. The baby had stopped crying. He was looking up at Vexthul with wide, dark eyes. There was no fear in those eyes, only curiosity. The baby seemed interested in Vexthul's strange appearance. Take him, Dr. Yuna said. Find him a safe place. Please. Vexthul did not understand. This human was dying. He had killed her friends and destroyed her home, yet she was asking him to save her child. You would trust me with your offspring? He asked. Dr. Yuna smiled weakly. You have a choice. You can kill him or you can let him live. But I believe there is good in every living thing, even in you. She closed her eyes and stopped breathing. Her arms relaxed, but she still held the baby safely. Vexthul looked down at the small human. Baby Wu Jin reached up with tiny fingers. He seemed to want to touch Vexthul's face. For the first time in his life, Commander Vexthul did not know what to do. Vexthul stood frozen in the small room. The dead human woman lay still against the wall. In her arms, baby Wu Jin looked up at him with bright, curious eyes. The commander had killed thousands of beings in his lifetime. He had destroyed entire cities. He had watched planets burn, but he had never felt anything like this moment. The baby made a small sound, Not crying, just a gentle noise. His tiny hand reached toward Vexthul's face. The fingers were so small, they could barely wrap around one of Vexthul's claws. "What are you doing, small human?" Vexthul whispered. Baby Wujin smiled. It was a real smile, full of joy and wonder. He was not afraid of the tall alien with sharp teeth and glowing eyes. To him, Vexthul was just something new and interesting. Vexthul had expected fear. All living things feared the Korthani. But this tiny human showed only trust. The commander's training told him what to do. Complete the mission. Leave no survivors. Kill the child and move on to the next target. But something stopped him. Maybe it was the way the baby looked at him. Maybe it was the mother's last words about believing there was good in everyone. Maybe it was just the complete helplessness of something so small and innocent. Vexthul reached down and carefully picked up the baby. Wujin was lighter than a feather. His small body was warm and soft. He smelled like soap and milk, not like the fear and death that usually surrounded Vexthul. "Your mother was a fool," Vexthul told the baby. "She trusted me with the most important thing in her life. She did not know what I am." Baby Wujin grabbed one of Vexthul's fingers with both tiny hands. He held on tight, as if he never wanted to let go. Vexthul looked around the room. On the walls were pictures of Dr. Yuna with the baby. In one photo, she was feeding him. In another, she was reading to him from a small book. In a third, both of them were sleeping peacefully together. These pictures showed something Vexthul had never seen before. They showed love. The Korthani did not raise their young the way humans did. Korthani children were taken from their parents when they were very young. They were trained to be warriors in special schools. Love was considered a weakness. But looking at these pictures, Vexthul began to wonder if the Korthani way was the only way. Baby Wujin made another small sound. He was starting to get hungry. Vexthul could tell because the baby was making sucking motions with his mouth. "I do not know how to feed you, small one," Vexthul said. "I know only how to destroy things, not care for them." But he had to try something. He searched the room and found bottles of milk formula. There was also a small device for warming the bottles. The humans had left instructions written in their simple language. Vexthul followed the instructions carefully. It took him several tries to get the temperature right. When he finally gave the bottle to baby Wujin, the little human drank eagerly. "So simple," Vexthul said. "You need so little to be happy: food, warmth, someone to hold you." While the baby drank, Vexthul thought about what to do next. His orders were clear: complete the mission and return to base. But those orders did not say anything about babies. He could kill the child. It would be quick and easy. Then he could finish destroying the station and leave. No one would ever know about this moment of confusion. But when he looked down at Jin's trusting face, Vexthul found he could not do it. He could leave the baby here. The station still had some air and power. Maybe another human ship would come looking for survivors. Maybe they would find the child in time, but that was not certain. The baby might die alone, slowly, waiting for help that never came. There was a third option. The station had escape pods. Vexthul could put the baby in one of them and set it to send a distress signal. Human ships always responded to distress calls, especially when children were involved. That was the logical choice. It would get the baby away from him and give the child a chance to live. Vexthul carried baby Wujin to the escape pod bay. The pods were small but well equipped. They had life support, food, and powerful transmitters. One of them could keep a baby alive for many days. He prepared the pod carefully. He set the life support for a human infant. He programmed the transmitter to send out a distress signal on human emergency frequencies. He even found a supply of baby food and formula to put inside. "This is better for you, small human," Vexthul said as he placed Wujin in the pod. "Your own kind will find you. They will take care of you properly." But as soon as he put the baby down, Wujin began to cry. It was not the gentle sounds he had been making before. This was real crying, full of distress and fear. The baby reached up toward Vexthul with both arms. He wanted to be picked up. He wanted to be held. "No," Vexthul said firmly. "You belong with humans, not with me." He started to close the pod, but the crying got louder. Baby Wu-jin was clearly upset about being left alone. Tears ran down his small face. Vexthul tried to ignore the crying, but something about the sound affected him deeply. It activated instincts he did not know he had. Instincts that said a crying baby needed help. Instincts that said he should pick up the child and comfort him. "Stop that noise," Vexthul commanded, but the baby kept crying. The commander paced back and forth in front of the pod. The logical part of his mind said to launch the pod and be done with it. But another part of his mind, a part he had never listened to before, said something different. It said the baby was crying because he felt abandoned. It said Wu-jin had bonded with him and did not want to be left alone. It said the child trusted him and needed him. "This is ridiculous," Vexthul said out loud. "I am a warrior, not a nursemaid." But when he looked at baby Wu-jin's tear-filled eyes, something inside him broke. He reached into the pod and picked up the baby. Immediately the crying stopped. Wu-jin snuggled against Vexthul's chest and made happy sounds. "You are making this very difficult, small human," Vexthul said softly. He stood there for a long time holding the baby, trying to decide what to do. Every logical thought told him to put Wu-jin in the pod and send him away, but every instinct told him to keep the child safe. Finally, Vexthul made his choice. "Very well, Wu-jin," he said. "You seem to have decided for both of us, but if you come with me, you must be quiet. My ship is not designed for babies." He gathered up supplies from the station: baby food, clean clothes, blankets, toys, everything a small human might need. As he carried Wu-jin back to his shuttle, Vexthul tried to understand what was happening to him. For his entire life, he had believed that strength meant destroying the weak. But now, holding this helpless baby, he was beginning to think that maybe real strength meant protecting the innocent. It was a dangerous thought for a Korthani warrior to have. But as baby Wu-jin fell asleep in his arms, Vexthul found he did not care about danger anymore. He only cared about keeping one small human safe. 3 weeks had passed since Vexthul took baby Wu-jin aboard his ship. 3 weeks that changed everything he thought he knew about life. The Korthani warship had never carried a baby before. Vexthul had to change many things to make it safe, for the small human. He removed sharp objects from his quarters. He made the temperature warmer. He even found soft materials to make a sleeping area for Wu-jin. Every day was a new challenge. Babies needed to eat every few hours. They needed clean clothes when they made messes. They needed someone to play with them and help them learn. At first, Vexthul was very bad at these things. He held Wu-jin too stiffly. He made the milk too hot or too cold. He did not understand why the baby cried sometimes, but Wu-jin was patient with him. The baby never stayed upset for long. When Vexthul made mistakes, Wu-jin would just look at him with trusting eyes, as if to say, "Try again. You will figure it out." Slowly, Vexthul began to understand. He learned that babies cried when they were hungry, tired, or lonely. He learned that they smiled when they felt safe and loved. He learned that they needed gentle touches and soft voices. The hardest part was the loneliness. Baby Wu-jin was naturally social. He wanted to interact with others. On the research station, he had been surrounded by people who talked to him and played with him. Now he only had Vexthul. The commander found himself talking to the baby for hours each day. At first, he just described what he was doing. "Now I am checking the ship's systems, Wu-jin. This screen shows our fuel levels." But soon he began sharing his thoughts and feelings, things he had never told anyone before. "I used to think humans were weak because you show emotions," he told the baby one day. "But taking care of you has made me feel things I never felt before. Does that make me weak too?" Baby Wu-jin just gurgled happily and reached for Vexthul's face with sticky fingers. The baby was growing and changing every day. He was learning to sit up by himself. He could grab things with his hands and put them in his mouth. He laughed when Vexthul made funny faces at him. Watching Wu Jin learn made Vexthul think about intelligence differently. Humans grew slowly, compared to other species. Korthani children could walk and talk within months of being born. But maybe growing slowly was not a weakness. Maybe it gave humans time to develop other things, like curiosity, like trust, like love. One day, while cleaning Wu Jin's sleeping area, Vexthul found something he had not noticed before. A small data pad that had belonged to Dr. Yuna Hana. It contained personal files and research notes. Vexthul read through the files carefully. What he found changed everything. Dr. Kang Hyun and Dr. Yuna Hana had not just been studying air and weather. They had been working on something called atmospheric terraforming. They were trying to figure out how to make dead planets livable. But they were not doing this for conquest or profit. Their research showed they wanted to create homes for refugees, people whose planets had been destroyed by wars or natural disasters. They wanted to give homeless populations places where they could rebuild their lives. Dr. Yuna's personal notes talked about her hopes for the future. She wrote about wanting to create worlds where different species could live together in peace. She wrote about her dreams for baby Wu Jin, that he would grow up in a galaxy where cooperation was more important than conflict. These were not the writings of destructive parasites. These were the thoughts of people who wanted to build, not destroy. People who cared about others, even strangers from different worlds. Vexthul sat in his captain's chair, holding sleeping Wu Jin in one arm and reading Dr. Yuna's words with the other. For the first time in his life, he felt ashamed of what he had done. He had killed good people, people who were trying to make the universe a better place. People who loved their child and dreamed of a peaceful future. Your parents were not weak, little one, he whispered to the sleeping baby. They were stronger than I ever was. It takes more courage to create than to destroy. 2 more weeks passed. Vexthul had been avoiding contact with the Korthani Empire. He was supposed to report his successful mission and return to base, but he could not bring himself to do it. How could he face his commanders? How could he tell them he had completed another human extermination when baby Wu Jin was sleeping peacefully in his quarters? The answer came sooner than he expected. His ship's sensors detected an approaching vessel. It was a human rescue ship following the distress beacon from the destroyed research station. Vexthul could have fled. His ship was faster than most human vessels. But something made him stay. Maybe it was time for baby Wu Jin to be with his own kind again. The human ship was called the UES Harmony. Its captain was a woman named Dong Mira. She sent a message to Vexthul's ship. Korthani vessel, this is Captain Dong Mira. We detected your ship near the site of a destroyed research station. We are here to search for survivors. Please state your intentions. Vexthul looked down at baby Wu Jin, who was awake and playing with a small toy. The child had brought light into the darkness of his ship. But Vexthul knew this could not last. Forever. Captain Mira, he transmitted back. I am Commander Vexthul. I have something that belongs to you. There was a long pause. Then Captain Mira's voice came back, suspicious and careful. What do you mean? I have a survivor from the research station, a human child. He is safe and unharmed. Another pause. This one even longer. Commander, are you saying you rescued a human child? Vexthul looked at Wu Jin, who was looking back at him with bright, trusting eyes. The baby smiled and reached toward him. Yes, Vexthul said. I rescued him, and in doing so, he rescued me. The 2 ships met in the empty space between planets. Captain Mira came aboard Vexthul's ship with a small team. She was a middle-aged woman with kind eyes and silver hair. She moved carefully, expecting a trap. Instead, she found Vexthul sitting in his quarters, gently feeding baby Wu Jin a bottle of milk. I do not understand, Captain Mira said, staring at the unlikely pair. Neither did I at first, Vexthul replied. I came to destroy your research station. I killed everyone there. But when I found this child, something changed. He told her the whole story, about finding Dr. Yuna Hana dying in her quarters, about her last request, about the weeks he had spent caring for Wu Jin, about reading the research files and understanding what kind of people he had killed. When he finished, Captain Mira was quiet for a long time. "You could have killed him," she finally said. "Why, didn't you?" Vexithol looked down at baby Wu Jin, who had finished eating and was now playing with his fingers. "Because he taught me something I never knew before. He taught me that strength is not about destroying things. Real strength is about protecting the innocent, about creating instead of destroying, about love instead of hate." Captain Mira stepped closer. "What do you want now, Commander?" Vexthul stood up, still holding the baby. "I want to request asylum with your fleet, not as a conquered enemy, but as someone who finally understands what humanity truly means." As if he understood what was happening, baby Wu Jin reached toward Captain Mira with both arms, but when she took him, he began to cry and reached back toward Vexthul. The baby knew who had cared for him, who had protected him, who had loved him. Captain Mira looked amazed. "He has bonded with you." "As I have bonded with him," Vexthul admitted. "He has become the most important thing in my life." Captain Mira handed the baby back to Vexthul. Immediately, Wu Jin stopped crying and snuggled against the alien warrior's chest. "If you truly want to change," she said, "then welcome to humanity, Commander. We believe that anyone can choose to be better than they were before." Vexthul looked down at baby Wu Jin, who was falling asleep in his arms. The child had done more than melt his alien heart. He had shown him what it meant to be truly alive. For the first time in his existence, Vexthul understood hope.